There's been a wave of important Social Security updates recently, and many seniors across America are paying close attention because their very livelihoods depend on these programs. A lot of chatter has been going around about whether there's going to be a $600 increase in SSI benefits this August, which is only days away. Understandably, millions of people who depend on Social Security are holding on to that hope because for so many seniors, every single dollar counts. Today, I'm going to break down what's really going on, clear up the confusion, and share some broader updates about Social Security. Beyond that, we'll take a look at the latest survey data showing just how much confidence in the system has slipped over time, especially among younger Americans, and what's being said in Congress about its future. Before we dive into the details, I want to take a moment to introduce this channel, Truth Lens. Here at Truth Lens, our goal is simple: to cut through the noise, sift through the rumors, and give you the clearest view possible of what's really happening with Social Security, government programs, and economic policy. Too often, headlines leave people more confused than informed. Seniors, especially those living on fixed incomes, can't afford misinformation when their rent, medication, groceries, and utilities are all on the line. So if you've ever wondered what's fact, what's fiction, and what really matters for you and your family, Truth Lens is here to make sense of it all. Let's begin with confidence in Social Security itself, because that sets the stage for everything else. According to a new report from AARP, confidence in the future of Social Security has sunk to its lowest level in 15 years. For younger Americans, particularly those under 50, that faith is almost non-existent. Only about a quarter of adults under 50 believe the program will still be there for them when they retire. For those who are already in retirement or close to it, confidence is higher. Nearly half of seniors surveyed said they trust that Social Security will continue to deliver. The big difference comes from lived experience. Seniors receiving their checks every month see firsthand that the program is still functioning, while younger generations are watching politicians argue and worry that by the time they need it, nothing will be left. That said, it's not just about confidence, it's about survival. For millions of seniors, Social Security isn't a bonus or extra cushion. It's the primary lifeline. The AARP report showed that 65% of retirees in 2025 say they rely heavily on Social Security to get by, compared to just over half 2 decades ago. That means more and more seniors are leaning on these checks as their only dependable income. And the reality is the average Social Security check isn't much. Many recipients live on less than $1,500 a month, trying to stretch that to cover rent, food, utilities, and rising medical expenses. For seniors without savings or pensions, those checks determine whether the lights stay on, whether prescriptions are filled, and whether there's food in the fridge. Meanwhile, the political debate about Social Security has left many Americans frustrated. Politicians in Washington make salaries over $170,000 a year, yet they hold the power to decide the fate of seniors trying to survive on barely $15,000 annually. That disconnect has only deepened the lack of trust. The AARP survey revealed that overall confidence in Social Security has dropped from 43% in 2020 to just 36% in 2025. Republicans tend to show slightly more confidence in the program's future than Democrats or independents, but across the board, 80% of people are worried about whether Social Security will be available when they retire. So where does that leave us today? Let's talk about the supposed $600 increase in SSI benefits for August. This rumor has been circulating widely online, with many seniors asking if they can expect a bigger check next month. The truth, however, is less exciting. What people are seeing is actually tied to COLA, the cost of living adjustment. For Social Security recipients, COLA increases adjust benefits once a year to account for inflation. The confusion comes when people see annual figures broken down into monthly terms. For example, someone receiving around $2,000 a month could see about $50 more each month with a 2.5% COLA increase. Over a year, that adds up to about $600. But, and this is the key, it's not a lump sum check of $600 in August. It's a gradual increase spread out month by month over the year. For SSI recipients, where base payments are lower, the increases are even smaller. That means while the headlines may sound like a big boost is coming, in reality, the check seniors receive in August will look the same as the checks they received in July. The next adjustment won't happen until the new COLA takes effect in 2026. So to be crystal clear, there will be no extra $600 payment coming in August. Any posts, rumors, or claims saying otherwise are simply not true. For seniors already struggling with the rising cost of groceries, housing, and healthcare, this is disappointing news, but it's important to separate fact from fiction. Still, the bigger story here is about what Congress is or isn't doing to secure Social Security's future. On its 90th anniversary, lawmakers stood before cameras making statements about the importance of protecting Social Security. Some argued that small bipartisan adjustments could extend the life of the trust fund for decades. Ideas like lifting the cap on taxable income, which would require higher earners to contribute more, are often mentioned as potential solutions, but despite the talk, there's been little concrete action. No major bills have been passed, and seniors continue to wait for real changes while struggling to pay their bills in the meantime. For those living this reality every day, the gap between Washington's debates and daily survival is immense. Imagine being 72 years old, retired after a lifetime of work, and relying solely on a monthly check that barely covers essentials. Rising rent costs eat away at that fixed income. A sudden medical bill can throw an entire month into crisis. Even basic needs like electricity or heating can become choices rather than guarantees. Seniors across America, people who spent decades contributing to the system through payroll taxes, now find themselves stretching every dollar while uncertainty about the future of the program looms large. It's also worth remembering the sheer scale of Social Security. Today, over 69 million Americans rely on it, and by 2035, that number is expected to grow by at least 13 million. That's nearly 1/5 of the U.S. population depending on these benefits to survive. And yet, despite constant warnings that the trust fund may be depleted within a decade, the program has never once missed a payment in its 90-year history. That reliability is why seniors still cling to Social Security as their most trusted income source, even as they worry about its long-term future. But for many, the current benefits just aren't enough. When surveys ask seniors how they're getting by, too many respond that without Social Security, they'd have nothing at all. For widows, disabled Americans, and retirees with no pension, it's the difference between dignity and destitution. And while inflation continues to drive up the cost of groceries, utilities, and prescriptions, those modest annual COLA increases often feel like a drop in the bucket. Seniors who built this country through decades of work shouldn't have to choose between food and medicine. Yet that is the painful reality for far too many today. So, as the rumors swirl about a $600 increase, the truth is simpler but also harder to accept. There is no one-time $600 payment arriving in August. The checks will stay the same until the next scheduled COLA adjustment in 2026. What seniors can rely on, though, is that Social Security has never failed to deliver monthly benefits, and for now, that reliability continues. Still, the larger debate about its future remains unsettled. Congress talks about bipartisan solutions, but until action is taken, millions of Americans will remain anxious and frustrated. That's the full update for today, and I hope it gave you a clearer picture of what's really happening. Seniors deserve honesty, not rumors, because these checks aren't just numbers, they're lifelines. And as America celebrates 90 years of Social Security, the reality is that this program is more important than ever for those who depend on it to survive.